Well, hello there, and welcome to issue number 50. And this one is all about the Cancerian Rooster. And as you can see on the caption prior to the video, those are the dates you have to be to fall into this Eastern and Western combination. And so let's start right at the very beginning. The Cancerian Rooster as a young child through the nursery time and into the very early school years. You will find a very quiet child, and one that only really relaxes when they're at home. They may be a bit of a whirlwind at home, and but not in a malicious way. They may really relax. That is where they feel safe, to be honest. They don't find it very easy to make friends. It's not that they're not likeable, that's not the case at all, but they're not really great talkers. They're not very big talkers, and other children may think they're a little bit standoffish, or just really don't know how to approach them. But the way they roll is that they like being quiet. They tend to be thinkers, quite deep thinkers. So they're very approachable. So the cases they could make friends quite easily, but they don't tend to because of this, and it tends to be other children being sort of slightly put off by this. So home is their castle, home is their key. They will come home, they will love the school holidays more than anything. Just lounging and being with the family, being in the environment, being in that safety. They're not ones to be going out playing for hours and hours on ends. They may have a mate over, or they may go to visit a friend, but they're not ones to you will be sort of going to play down the park playing football, or rugby, or as a girl, hanging about somewhere, down the swings, etc. like that. They're not like that. They like to, as I say, spend that time where they feel that they can relax and let their emotions sort of have a bit of a break, because they are a very emotional combination, but this is very much inside. They find that the rooster doesn't let them show emotions very easily, tends to give them that stiff upper lip sort of gritty teeth look, but really inside they're very emotional and very sensitive. So there's a little bit of an inward battle there, and normally the rooster wins this. It tends to win this and gets them to sort of close up, shut down, and go inward a little bit. So very rarely do you see outward shows of emotion, but quietly they may be doing this. And as we take them through the school years, and we're getting into secondary school and into college, high school, etc., there can be a change. Their emotions, if not released in the right way, how can I put it? If they're not released in the right way, if they're living away from home to do their studies, or if their home life isn't brilliant in the sense of they've been moved from pillar to post, or their parents are fighting, or there's some problems at home, then they can really change quite dramatically into sort of quite a promiscuous, quite aggressive, and basically devil may care sort of late teenager, early 20s sort of character. And really people say, well, what's happened to that sort of quiet child, that restrained child? Well, this is where the Cancerian gets his own back, and it sort of says, I'm going to be in control here. I'm going to be the one having my time. And it tends to have that period of the late teens and the early 20s. This can be a promiscuous time. They can get involved with the wrong people quite easily, and even the people surrounding the people they meet are saying, "Oh, you've got involved with the wrong person." Opposing the Cancerian Rooster, because they do seem this character that does enjoy conflict, does enjoy stirring trouble, doesn't enjoy winding people up. You know, there's a little bit of that about them, and it does attract the wrong crowd, and vice versa. You know, here they can have, you know, unwanted pregnancies in the sense of, yes, they can, you know, male or female, you know, it's not, it wouldn't matter to them, you know, they have no sort of boundary there. That's quite a shame really, because all they're trying to do is what the Cancerian can do, is just look for confirmation that they're accepted, and they think by sleeping with X amount of people, that they're needed, that they're wanted, but you know, it's meaningless. It's really not fulfilling for them. Cancerians can get very lonely and very bleak with this, and the Rooster may make it a little bit easier to shrug off the disappointments, but it's still there, it's still deep lying, and we need them to sort of like blossom and come out of this. And by the time, I wouldn't say to any Cancerian Rooster to settle down until later 20s, at the earliest 30s, even better, because they are going to have this emotional time bomb go off. It's inevitable, but the length of time is the defining sort of criteria here. If they haven't got that stable home life, then it could go on for a while. If they have had, and they've got someone to talk to, got somewhere letting their emotions out, it may be fleeting. It may be fleeting, it may last for a year, and then they're back down to where they are, because they're decent studiers, they have good discipline, they don't mind taking their time to get to where they want to go, they don't need to rush, they're not blessed with great luck, so they're not going to get a foot up the ladder by knowing somebody. They will have to work hard to get to any decent position, but they've got the courage, they have the strength and the discipline to get there. What we don't want them to do is absolutely make a pig's ear of their life in this early 20s part to the middle, and they can't dig themselves out of it, which is very possible with this combination. You know, it's quite possible for them to completely make a cock up of it all, and find it very difficult to come back from, and even going into their 40s trying to justify themselves, you know, and trying to, you know, still having ghosts from the past coming back at them because of what they did, you know, the way they were. So let's hope they can get through that period. They've gotten to a decent age, they've gotten to the 30s, early 30s, and they want to settle down there, and that's a good time. Get them settling down, but they really need to meet the right partner. It's so crucial with this combination, because, as we've said, they're prone to the wrong people. They're prone to loving people who don't deserve it as well. They will constantly bash their head against the wall to say, I want confirmation of your affection, even when they've met the wrong uns, you know, they've met bad people, but they will keep trying that dedication. But meet the right person in the first place, and it saves all of that mess, saves all of that hassle. So what we need you to do, Cancerian Rooster, is to meet the right person, and the right combination is the snake. For the Rooster, the snake is fantastic, because that is somebody that you can pick up the phone to and say, I'm not having a great time at the minute, and you can talk to them. It's going to be personal, it's going to be private. You could talk to them at any time of the day. You can wake them up in the middle of the night. You can say, well, the snake is always available for the Rooster, and mentally it's such a fine match that, you know, they can't fail as a partnership, because, you know, they're so in tune mentally, and because they're both very emotive, Rooster's keeping it quiet and hidden, and the snake's a lot more sensual, but basically it's inward, and the snake really helps the Rooster release that emotional side and that gentle side, takes away the rough edges, takes away that aggression, and that toughness, and really allows the Cancer to breathe as well. So go with the snake. That's a fantastic union, and let's see if we can find the Piscean snake is a brilliant match, Taurian snake, the Virgo snake, and the Scorpio snake, very, very good, and also the Oxen, and the Oxen for a different reason, because it's stability. when you're having those up and down, when roosters can have them dips in, you know, and conflicts with their western side of them, you know, especially with emotional character, those dips up and down, and quite moodiness sometimes. The ox is like this, boom, boom, boom. It is so solid and straight, and says, come on, get out of that mood, get out of that, you know, feeling sorry for yourself, come on, you know, we're in this together. And there's a lovely unity there. Maybe not as much dialogue, but there's a lot of unsaid sort of strength, and they really do look to each other for that. So that's a fantastic match. First, so let's go with the Piscean ox, the Taurian ox, the Virgo ox, and the Scorpio ox. Absolutely wonderful. If we look at the ones to avoid, as we've said, all roosters, and the Cancerian roosters especially, is going to be the rabbit. The rabbit and the rooster can be quite malicious towards each other in the end, even if they have a brief good start. They'll be very, very malicious. The rabbit will think that the rooster is a bit tough and a little bit logical and a bit functional and a little bit, as I say, aggressive. And the rabbit will get malicious and spiteful and say things that it knows will hurt the rooster, but deep within, even though the rooster won't show it, deep in it will hurt. And it will try and provoke emotion, which isn't always wise. So they end up being very, end up scrapping quite often, and some very big rows there. If we look at health-wise, well, with the Cancerian rooster, you always have to worry about the stomach, intestines, ulcers, where that emotion's going. It's not being able to come out, it goes in, it attacks the stomach. Crohn's disorder, even the esophagus can get attacked through the digestive system, and where the reflux is a very common problem with them as well. So just be careful with that. Any problems, check that out, as I hope you already have. And as I say, find the release with that emotion, but with the right partner. I hope you've enjoyed this issue, and please